Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Houston Rockets Daily. My name is Jackson, and today we are talking a little bit about Kevin Porter Jr. because basically Bleacher Report wrote an article about every team's weakness, and surprisingly to me, with the defense we've had the past two seasons, Kevin Porter Jr. and our point guard position apparently are pretty weak. And that was our biggest weakness, was point guard. So welcome back to the channel, man. If you're new here, hit that like button, hit that sub button. Apologize, no videos recently. I'm still going live daily on my NBA show, and we'll talk Rockets stuff probably at least once a week. I try and share these clips with you guys when they come, but not too much going on in the NBA sphere just in general. So this isn't really even all that interesting. I'm just so sick of Kevin Porter Jr. slander. This man in the second half of the season got his turnovers all the way down to 2, was putting up 19.5 points per game with 6 assists and shooting 40% from downtown. And when you look at his stats in general, first off, first season, right? Cleveland, okay? Second season, gets traded. You can tell there was a lot of mental stuff going on with Kevin at that time. I mean, he got kicked off essentially of the Cleveland Cavaliers basketball team and then gets traded to Houston, right? And what we did was we put him in the G League until the final 26 games, the last like 2 months and a half of the season. What did he do? Well, he dropped 50 points against the team that was going on to win it. Just making sure this is good. He went on to drop 50 points, 50-point double-double against the team that ended up winning the championship. Against Jrue Holiday, Kevin Porter Jr. drops 50 points, and he puts up some very solid and very enticing statistics. 16.5 points per game, about 4 rebounds, 3.8 rebounds to be exact, 6.3 assists, 0.7 steals, but his shooting was really subpar, right? He shot 42.5% from the field, and he only shot 31% from downtown. At the same time, he had 3.5 turnovers, so it was kind of like, all right, yeah, there's a lot of potential here, especially with scoring. He definitely flashed his playmaking and his point guard abilities, which was nice, but he needs to cut down the turnovers, and he needs to become more efficient with his shot. Keep in mind, he also shot 73% from the free throw line, which was right aligned with his rookie season. So this past year in 61 games, statistically, when you really break it down, unless you look at first half and second half splits, it's not the best. But you have to keep in mind, the first 25 games, the first half of the season essentially was played with Daniel Theis. All right, so you're running this lineup. You have Kevin Porter Jr., you have brand new rookie sensation Jalen Green, you have Jae'Sean Tate, who shot like 29%, 30% from downtown last season, so no floor spacing at all. You have Christian Wood, who, I mean, let's be real, Christian Wood is definitely a bucket, but defensively speaking, not much there, and he does have some plays, I guess like a lot of other players, not trying to rag on Wood here, but like, you know, there would be some headaches with certain decision-making with Christian Wood on the offensive end, specifically with passing. Then you have Daniel Theis, who, as much love as I have for Daniel Theis, it's very clear, and it was very clear to me when the Boston Celtics made the NBA Finals, like, his role is a depth role. It's purely a depth role. It's like mainly a defensive decision. Yeah, he can kind of stretch the floor, but we saw plenty of wide open threes from Daniel Theis, which opposing teams were, I mean, anytime Daniel Theis gets the ball at the three-point line, like, yeah, oh yeah. If that's what you want to do, definitely, Daniel, shoot that basketball. Please be my guest and shoot that 3. Because more often than not, it's not going in. So teams definitely picked on Theis shooting the long ball last season along with Jae'Sean Tate. So the floor spacing was just extremely unideal. He was turning the ball over a lot. He was shooting abysmally from downtown, the field goal and the free throw percentage. All of the stats just weren't great with KPJ. It was like somewhere along 13.5 points per game, assist numbers down to like 5, and the shooting was somewhere in the 30s. It was not great. But like I said, second half of the season, he comes out, he gets his turnovers down, he gets his points to almost 20 points per game, keeps the assists and the rebounds right there, gets that 3-point percentage back up, gets that field goal percentage back up. The one caveat I would say to KPJ's season last year was the 64% from the free throw line, which I have no idea how this virus spread to the whole team. The whole team, it was pretty much every single player on the Houston Rockets last season shooting the free throw, bro, especially C. Wood and Kevin. Oh, man, they were so abysmal. It was just, like, honestly embarrassing. So that's something to work on, but I love what I'm seeing. You know, especially in the second half of the season, I feel like it was kind of forgotten about because of Jalen Green. Like, Jalen Green, second half of the season, really balled his ass off and showed exactly why he was selected number 2 in that season's draft, because he was dropping 20 bombs. He was dropping 30 bombs. He dropped a 40 bomb. Jalen Green was cooking, but right behind him was KPJ. So say Jalen Green drops 34, en route to maybe a victory. I know we didn't have too many of them, but let's say the Rockets win a game and you have Jalen Green drop 35 points in that night. KPJ's right there with like 28, 5, and 6. So KPJ balled his ass off in the second half as well. So I have zero concerns with Kevin as far as long-term and longevity at that point guard position. The good news is this. KPJ is a phenomenal spot-up shooter. Like, he's a phenomenal, one of the best in the league at his position as far as catch-and-shoot three-point shots go. So you're telling me the worst-case solution is a positional change for Kevin Porter Jr. That's a good position to be in while we wait for Kevin to continue to develop, progress, just like a lot of our young kids and our brand-new rookies in, Tari Eason, Jabari Smith, and most notably in this video, Ty Washington. So Ty, Daishen Nix are kind of our backup guards. I'm still such an advocate of putting Eric Gordon in as our backup point guard because he can spread the floor enough. He can play make enough where he can be our backup point guard. And then you have Ty kind of sharing ball handling duties with him. I don't know what's going to happen because I think Eric Gordon will start. So we will most likely see Ty, Daishen, or Trey Burke. Trey Burke in the new addition from the Christian Wood trade. I don't know what the deal is actually with Bogdanovich, Trey Burke, Sterling Brown. I don't know what the deal is going to be. I would not be surprised. Like, guys, training camp's in about a month. The Rockets haven't made any of these moves yet. So I'm kind of assuming at least 2 of the 3 guys from that Wood trade are going to be returning, coming to Houston. And I'm looking at Bogdanovich, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was Trey Burke because Trey Burke's actually a pretty solid player. Like, he's in the NBA, obviously. But he's a solid backup point guard if Ty Washington and Daishen Nix aren't ready for it. Ty looked good in Summer League, but he looked very, very raw. In Summer League, 9.5 points per game, only shot 37.5% from the field, played 5 games. He had 4 assists, which was definitely nice. Only a turnover and a half, 1.4 turnovers. But, it's more of a project piece. We're not expecting immediate, like, crazy efficiency contribution-wise from Ty Washington. So I do think Ty will get the nod. I feel like Daishen, he definitely made up for his, like, terrible first game in the Summer League, but camp's still here, preseason's still here. This is all technically up in the air, but I would have to say we'll see Ty Washington next season 100%. I don't know about Daishen Nix, if we're being quite frank here, although, like I said, Daishen Nix probably had the better Summer League than Ty. So maybe you started off with Daishen and then you kind of bring in Ty. I don't know what they're going to do. We'll see what Silas decides to do. That's it for today, though. Let me know what you guys are thinking about the Houston Rockets point guard position. I don't really view it as our weakness considering our defense is abysmal. Jabari and Tari are definitely 2 nice contributions, but still, it's going to be a process getting the Houston Rockets defense to elite levels. So that's it for today. I got to go hiccup. So hit the like button, hit that sub button, drop some comments down below on our point guard position. Peace.